emerging wireless technology, like ACW2, virtual BLEs, IoT, analytics. Right? Everyone wants to go faster. They want to know who people are. They want to be able to analyze what people are doing and how often they're doing it. Right? So what I'm going to talk about today is our CDW practice, wireless practice, our wireless customer initiatives, capabilities, assessments, and platforms that we support. So, statistically proven, or about to be proven, by 2020, about 2/3 of internet IP traffic will be mobile devices. By show of hands, how many people have one mobile device? 2, 3, 4? No 4s? No 4s? Okay. No 4. So, what I want you to get out of this slide is wireless monitoring. More mobile devices are being manufactured, the more we need to make sure wireless engineering is probably one of the harder expert level certifications to get. We have 4 Meraki master engineers. So basically, they're past the associate level. They're not a network admin anymore. These guys know how to talk about complex Meraki solutions. Site survey kit and tools. So we'll talk about what it takes to create a good wireless design. Initiatives. As we all know, everyone wants to bring their own devices into the network. Right? Everyone wants to get wireless access. You come in here with your own cell phone, your own laptop, you want to be able to get some type of access to local resources. How do we manage that? All right. Guest access. A ton of people that's coming in with their own devices, they want access. But you want to be able to isolate them from your local resources. You don't want them to be able to have access to any of the local servers, having any access to your precious information. I guess. Well, we have a big problem on our hands, and it's the influx of mobile devices. So what we've come to understand is most of our customers, they have a legacy way of when they design their wireless. It's all about coverage. If I can walk around and I can see a signal strength on my phone, I'm fine. Well, that's not the case anymore. We're now having more devices in a smaller footprint. What does that mean? Think of a highway. When you guys leave out of work, what time do you guys leave? 4 or 5, right? You try to get out as fast as possible. If you know you got to leave at, traffic starts at 5, you try to leave at 4:30, right, to beat the traffic. But what happens when everyone leaves at the same time? Traffic. You get congestion. You got to wait your turn to go. So that's the problem that we're seeing today in a lot of our industries, is that it's high density. More devices, not enough coverage, not enough capacity, not enough bandwidth. And all this does not matter unless we go back to my guide to you. Gotta be able to secure this. So RF, radio frequency, is one aspect of it, but locking this all down. You gotta make it safe for everyone. You don't want anyone to be able to get onto your mobile phone and download your pictures. Might have some exclusive pictures in there that you don't want anybody to see. So how do we lock that stuff down? Right? You gotta make sure that we have a good, robust security policy for your wireless infrastructure. And for our customers, we want to make sure when we're designing each one of these initiatives that we keep security in the back of our minds. So our capability. This is our arena of expertise. We have other arenas that I can't present on the slide. So when we talk about healthcare, being able to adhere to regulations of HIPAA, right, protecting our patients' information, making sure that we're not allowing someone to walk into the healthcare facility and have access to precious patient information. So we want to be able to lock that down. Manufacturing, education, right? We talk about Chromebooks, we talk about manufacturing equipment. This is a play, manufacturing is a play you see IoT a lot, right? But how do you get there? Specific designs. Retail, stadiums, sports, and entertainment. So currently we're deploying a stadium engagement for the University of Maryland, who's deploying for both stadium, basketball and football arena. And when we talk about high density or extremely high density, this right here is our bread and butter. Our stadium tiger team has done a lot of stadiums in the last 5 years. We've done Cardinal Stadium about 2 years ago for Super Bowl, 3 years ago for Super Bowl, part of that team. Georgia Dome, about 4 years ago, part of that team. Redskins, part of that team. Madison Square Garden, part of that team. So I'm very well versed in stadium engagement and large venues. But I've also worked in healthcare, manufacturing, education. We recently, about last year, we did a project for West Genesee School District. I was the engineer that employed the wireless for the school district. State and local. This is probably resonating with you guys the most, is being able to, we know government doesn't refresh their infrastructure that often, but being able to future-proof their network, giving them something that's very secure, being able to help them with those initiatives, right? Getting guest access, very big in government. We don't want anyone on our network, but we want to give them access. So how do we do it? We talk about engine controllers, DMZs, right? Totally isolated network. So these are the things that where we're expert at. We've deployed and had successful wins in every single one of these arenas. And I've deployed and had success with every single one of these arenas. So when we talk about wireless, we have the pedigree to get the job done. And that's what we're about, results. Right? We make sure that we're listening to what our customer needs are. We're helping them to understand what that migration path looks like, what you currently have to where you're going. We're talking about security, how to secure this wireless network. A lot of our customers are running really weak security. They talked about, having people come into a network and, maybe it's a contractor. So a couple of years ago, Target, which is one of our clients, had a contractor come into the network, but because they didn't have a good policy for allowing contractors to come in, they allowed the contractor to be on their internal network. Contractor lost their laptop. What do you think happened right after that? Right? So not being able to have things like ICE in your network, NAC compliance, that's a dynamic policy manager, being able to assess posture, profile, those devices that's coming inside the network. If you're a corporate user with a corporate machine, then that should allow you access to the corporate resources. If you're a contractor with a BYOD device, but you need limited access to some of my resources, I can grant you that. You're a guest. You're not a corporate user, you don't have a corporate machine. I'm going to put you right on the guest network. Totally isolated network, no worries, nothing to worry about. But none of those things matter. It's all about design. If we do not go out and assess our customer's environment for deploying a wireless solution, we're going to run into problems. So this is where I would say our bread and butter would be, is to start with this conversational piece. Hey, Mr. Customer, when was the last time you had a Wi-Fi assessment? When was the last time you had a health check, a configuration health check? What are your initiatives? What are you trying to get to? What's your future plans? And let's get in there and have our team come in and help you design high density wireless. Voice, if you're doing voice application, Link, Jabber over wireless. Location services. When we talk about location services, being able to track devices, patients, babies, right? Having an RF tag on a baby and being able to figure out where that baby is in the hospital. Having analytical information based on those locational services. Spectrum analysis. We're talking about wireless. It's not like the wired. You can't plug it. It's not like you're plugging something in physically. If you have a bad wire, we can fix it. No, we have special tools that we need to be able to analyze the air, to understand what's happening in the air. How many people are talking, right? You ever been to a bar, football game, any large arena or venue where there's a ton of people, right? Well, what happens when everyone is talking and you have somebody that's right next to you? Well, the noise ceiling is so high, there's so much noise around you, you have to compensate for that. So what you have to do? You have to speak loud, right? So that person next to you can have some type of understanding of what you're saying. Same thing with wireless. All about that two-way communication. There's nothing worse than you being heard louder than the person and the person can't hear you. So you want to make sure when we're designing wireless solutions, you keep this in mind. It's always a two-way conversation, right? Fellas, your lady, you talk to your lady, she might say something you might not understand, right? It gets very frustrating. Ladies, you talk to your man and he says something you might not understand. It's that two-way conversation. So I want you to keep that in mind when you talk about wireless. Right? It's all about the conversation. And we can help customers with this by doing site services. You need this. 90% of your configurations for your wireless infrastructure comes from this. So keep this in mind. Again, ask your customers, when was the last time you had a health check? When was the last time you had an RF assessment? What are your initiatives? My primary focus as a wireless solutions architect, field solutions architect, is Cisco, Meraki, and Aruba. So I deal with primarily on-prem solution, cloud solution, and what we call hybrid, which is a virtual solution with some kind of cloud in it. When we talk about on-prem, we have the ability to talk about autonomous access point, and help customers with that, which we really want to get customers away from autonomous access point. Why? It's very hard to manage. That's like having every single one of you guys to manage. If I have you on a lightweight access point, I have a manager. That manager now is my central point. Everything now goes through that manager versus every single person doing their own thing. Right? So just remember, when we talk about on-prem, we want to make sure that we're talking about what is it going to cost? What's the initial cost? Right? What's the operational cost? On-prem solutions are a little bit more expensive, right? But it makes you sleep good at night. It has all the bells and whistles you can think of, all the nerve knobs you can think of. When you talk about getting really granular in the configuration, on-prem solution is usually the way to go. Talk about new technology platforms. We're focused on-prem, Cisco on-prem. We're focused on cloud, and we're focused on what we call a hybrid, which is on-prem with some cloud-centric characteristics. We're very heavily based in Cisco on-prem solution. So we're talking about controller base, lightweight access point. We might align that with prime infrastructure, which is to manage your network devices. So we're talking about your controllers, your AP. And then we might add mobility service engine. What is mobility service engine? It collects all the telemetry data from all the access points. What does that mean? Anytime that you walk into this environment and you have a smart device, and even if you're not connected to the mobile network, I can know who you are and where you are and how long you've been there. Big brother is here. He's tracking you, but he wants to know what you're doing. So these are the devices that we do from an on-prem solution. CMX Cloud is one of the suites or services that's offered through the mobility service engine. It's Cisco's first play of taking an on-prem solution and taking it to the cloud, allowing a customer that has a cloud, on-prem infrastructure, and having some presence in the cloud. Meraki, when we talk about CapEx for an on-prem solution, it's usually the initial investment could be a little bit more, but understand it's like buying a Cadillac. You want the best, you want to be able to create that robust experience for your users, it's always better to go on-prem. Talk about government. Government doesn't like people to have access to their information anyway, right? So they're more than likely going to want to keep it on-prem. When we talk about Meraki and cloud, we want to make sure we express to our customers the initial cost and OpEx for cloud-based subscription is pretty expensive. Initially, it's always a little bit lower, but over time it does add up. The the customer is looking for a solution where they don't have an on-premise controller and they don't want to do a full cloud, they can go with the Aruba, which is a virtual controller that's built into the access point and allows the customer to still have that control-based feel without having a separate appliance. Questions? No questions on wireless? Is anybody selling wireless today?